Hello everybody, it's Kirsten again with Water's Edge Tarot. I'm coming at you with the weekly reading, just to see what, the cards have to say about this week. Hope everyone's been, having a good day, and whenever this reading finds you, I hope that you'll find some type of advice or comfort in what the cards have to say. So while I just finish shuffling, let's just get ready for this upcoming week together through the shuffling. Alright. The first card is where we currently are, or we're coming into the week. And we're coming into the week with Five of Swords reversed. Swords are always about thoughts. They're about our mind. It's at the intellectual part of us. It is also the element of air. And having the Five of Swords reversed is still a conflict of thoughts. It's still a conflict of, mentality. But when it's reversed, it's to be resolved. So it's not that the conflict is completely over. It's instead of being constantly at battle with, your own thoughts or with somebody else, if that's what it is. When it's reversed, you're down for the compromise. You're, realizing, yes, this is how it was, but this is what we're going to be going forward with. You see the need for the change, and you're starting to make it, and mentally. Whether again that be through compromise, whether that be through giving yourself grace, just to find it in your heart to allow yourself the ease of change when it comes to your own thought processes. Because a lot of times the old and the new like to conflict, and you just have to remind yourself to be kind during those times of change. Yeah, so, that's not a terrible place to start. It's often uncomfortable, but not a terrible place. The next card is the growth, and here we have the Seven of Coins reversed. Once again, I feel like we've been seeing this card a lot in these readings specifically. But reaping what you sow. So it's a matter of, staying tentative to the things that you keep planting. Once plants are planted, they, really shouldn't just be ignored. You need to tend to them to get your best results. When it's reversed, a lot of times you are neglecting your garden. You're neglecting whatever it is that you're working on and that you've been trying so hard to move forward with. And I mean, the reason could be for different things. I'm not saying that we're neglecting it, just out of laziness. Sometimes something has to be, pushed aside for something more important that comes up at the time, which that's fine. That's not what I'm getting at here. But what I'm sensing and what I'm feeling with this card is that we need to remember, what it was that we were working towards, so that way we can go back and weed the garden, so that way we can go back and fulfill the parts that we've been forgetting or not tending to, because if we keep the way we're going, we're still going to see results, but it's going to be a lot smaller and a lot slower than what we want. But if we remember, hey, just put a little bit more energy in whatever it is we're working on, then we will get a bigger yield. Alright, we have our obstacles. Five of Coins, and it's upright. So Five of Coins, there's no way around it. Really is a poverty card. But I'm not talking about just poverty in the financial sense. And yes, I know that pentacles are very heavily associated with finances because, coins, pentacles, they're the same thing, right? But you also have to remember that this is a resource card, that pentacles are resources. So it could be low on resources, it could be low on energy, it could be low on time, it could be low on food supply. And these are things that are a part of us, but also it's something that can be shifted. I'm not going to say be avoided, but it can be shifted. So yes, we're going to find ourselves, looking at the bottom of the barrel, which isn't always a comfortable place to be. But at the same time, when you're at the bottom, that allows you to, change things. Maybe the particular fruit that you had in that barrel, you're tired of. So go ahead and, completely empty it out and fill it with something else. That is a time that is something you can do do when you actually have this card. A lot of people just think, oh, you know, I'm going to be without, but they never realize that sometimes in order to change something or to do something differently, you do have to completely deplete the source. So that way you can, you know, go in a different direction, or you can, you know, fill it up with something else. You're not going to want to, you know, change over, you know, if you want to really have this thing be a sugar bowl, but it holds flour in it, you're not just going to combine the flour and the sugar. No, you're going to completely deplete the sugar out of it and then put the flour in it. Like, that just is what it is. So think of that too as we see this card, that this isn't just, you know, lack or poverty, it's just a running out or running low, but that also gives us the opportunity to fill with something new. Alright, and then our next card is what we embrace / release. And here we have the Fool reversed. So the Fool is always something to embrace, because the Fool reminds us about our childlike. It reminds us about our hope, our naivety, our inspirations. It's the journey that we all start out with fresh and, you know, rejuvenated. With the Fool being reversed, though, the thing that a lot of people focus on is when you start on something new, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to get scrapes, you're going to get bruises, and people get really upset, and sometimes they just tend to focus on the scrapes and the bruises. You have to remember that those scrapes and bruises, though, are learning opportunities. We learn more from those scrapes and bruises than we do from when, you know, we're doing everything right. Because the scrapes and the bruises are where we learn about our strengths. So I really want to challenge everyone who's listening to this to remember that as we're all going into something new, and I feel like a lot of us are, you know, experiencing new things and working towards a change, and all changes mean new territory. Remember that while it seems difficult and hard, those difficulties are where you're going to find your strength, and they're going to be the things that are going to make this for you, the true process, the true person that you are. It's going to help bring it all together. So let's not be disheartened when we fall and stumble. Let's just get back up and say, okay, we need to pay more attention to this in the future. Alright, and here we're going to have our grounding and our supportive card, which we have 8 of Wands. 8 of Wands is a pretty cool card. It's the smooth sailing card. It means that things are going to happen with ease. The important thing to remember about this card, though, is it is an action card, and things only happen with ease when we do the things, when we go with the flow, when we, you know, when we're moving forward. If we are allowing ourselves to be distracted by shiny objects, or by, you know, maybe not the best coping mechanisms, or by, you know, old thought patterns and behaviors that just come easier to us, then the moving forward is not going to be easy. What it is it's going to be easy moving forward with the action that you need to do to continue to make the change that we're trying to make here. And the reason why I'm really focusing on this change is because, you know, we have the Fool, we have the 5 of Swords, and we have the 5 of Coins. 5's a number of change to begin with. If you didn't know that, I'm going to explain that to you now. 5 means change in numerology. I don't have the exact reason for it, but I know it means change. And so we already have 2 cards of change here, and then the Fool. The Fool's always when you're starting something new. And a lot of times when we start something new, you know, and we get those scrapes and bruises, we're like, okay, well, you know, we forget the ease of moving forward. And I get it. But the reason why I'm pulling this all together so soon is because with the 8 of Wands and moving forward, it's all about muscle memory. And the more we do things, the awkward and clumsy we're going to be in the beginning, but the more we do it, the easier it's going to be, the more it happens. And that's where the doing to move forward happens. And that's why I'm saying to go with the flow. Think about it. The first time anyone rides a bicycle, yeah, they're gonna fall. Even with the little training wheels on. I fell numerous times. I was clumsy as all get out. Now on a bicycle, I'm good. I don't even need the training wheels and I can just go. But I had to get all those scrapes and bruises in order to learn the balance. And then once I learned the balance and I understood how the bike itself worked, I'm able to get on and just go because of muscle memory. And muscle memory doesn't just work with a physical activity like getting a bike. It works when you are in a new territory, learning a new environment. It's part, your brain is a muscle. So anytime you're trying to change a thought pattern or a process, or, you know, work on a new coping mechanism, that's still muscle memory. That's still your muscle being exercised. Anytime you're trying to learn a new formula or get yourself into a new routine, that is literally your body physically trying to work out something that it hasn't been doing. It's still muscle memory. So I just want to remind you that with the moving forward and the Eight of Wands, it's not necessarily that things are going to come easier to you. It's just that things are going to get smoother the more you do it and the farther you go. And then our overall weekly meaning of this is the Four of Cups, which is boredom, guys. And that also is something a lot of times we face in a period of change. So this card, the Four of Cups, it's an emotional card. And a lot of times when we are in this period of change, we look at the one thing that we really, really want. And sometimes, you know, that might be the goal that we want. It might be the 50 pounds that we're trying to lose, or it might be, you know, the promotion that we're trying to get, or it might be something, you know, that we really do want and need. But sometimes we get so focused on it that we decide that the other things don't matter. The other three cups in front of us aren't as important as that one goal. And we always need to remember everything. Balance is everything, and that includes balance of the heart. So yeah, you know, while you want to work on your new art project that you've been dying to do, but you still need to work your 9-to-5 job, you know, it's easy to get bored and just think about, oh my goodness, I could be working on that painting. But you still need to do the 9-to-5 job in order to go forward right now. You don't have the ability to, you know, just completely neglect the way that you're making money at the moment. And yeah, you might be in the period of changing from the 9-to-5 job so you can be a full-time artist and get paid for your art. But we still need to remember what we need to do. Same goes with the house. Yes, you can, you know, work on that magical painting and everything's going to be great. But if you completely neglect your house, you might not have food. You might not have clean clothes to wear the next day to work. You might not have, you know, an environment that's welcoming to other people or even yourself, which is something that you know, won't be happy about. So when we receive the Four of Cups, for me, a lot of times it's something to remember that, yes, this cup is important, but the other three cups are just as important because they are part of our foundation. And I know integration is a big part of everything we do, but we need to remember that in order to reach our goal, we still have to continue to fulfill the cups that we currently have. I'm going to kind of pull this all together because I really, for the first time in a while, focused on each card by itself. So here I see really a lot of us just working on something new. I think I've said that word, I don't know how many times in this actual reading. But the thing about that I want to remind everybody is it doesn't have to necessarily be an extravagant thing to be considered new. It can be something small that you're trying to change, but that small thing still is going to cause resistance, and it's still going to be something that's going to feel uncomfortable and uneasy for you. We're going to get the difference. We're going to find the change we want because we do have the Seven of Coins here, and that is our growth card. So we're going to continue to grow in our work, which is great. We're going to continue to see the progress. We're going to continue to see the rewards, but on a small scale, which is fine. But we just have to remember that that small scale is only because we can only put so much effort in the beginning. And that's where the lack comes from. It's not that we don't lack the money, that we don't lack the energy, that we don't lack the resources. It's just that right now we don't have it in the beginning to be able to put more into it, because if we do, then it means that, you know, we're not really paying attention to everything else we need to pay attention to. Which, again, that's fine. And the reason I'm pulling that together is because a lot of times when we, you know, are pipe dreaming, when we're looking so hard at that fourth cup, it's because we are already starting in a new state, a new place. You know, in every video game that you play, or any game you play actually, you always start, you know, with very little, and then you build yourself up. same thing happens with changes. That is a very real life example of how changes actually work. You don't start with having everything. You start small and build up. And I just want to remind everyone that while you're doing that, the only way to get more, to get the bigger, is by continuously doing and moving forward. And if you just remember that the scrapes and the stumbles along the way are part of it, and that they're the lessons that are going to help you, as we keep going forward, the smooth sailing will happen. The moving forward will become, the muscle memory, the automation that you're looking for will naturally come to you. So I just ask everyone to remember patience this week with yourself, love and grace with yourself, because I'm not saying this week's going to be hard. I'm not going to say anything particularly like awe-inspiring is going to happen. What I am saying is that this week is something where we all need to remember what our goal is, but we also need to remember the mundane. We need to remember the 3 cups that still need to be fulfilled. We need to remember to just, keep doing whatever it is that moves the progress. And the more we move the progress, the easier it is to go forward. And the more that we do, the less we have to worry about that internal conflict. And the more we do, the more we'll continue to build, and the more we'll find the whatever it is that feels lack. All right, guys, that's what I got for this week. Please comment below if this resonates with you. And I hope everyone has a wonderful week.